Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Bitch Up. How y'all doing this week?
Hola, hola, hola. Viva Mexico.
Cabrones.
For real, I feel like the FIFA games have been really good this week.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, oh
getting
my
real.
God, it's getting real, you guys. We're going on to round 32. So that
Yeah.
should be exciting. I see you're wearing your Mexico jersey. And
Yes,
when you
this is why
popped
I'm
off, I was
wearing
like,
it.
okay, queen. I'm like, I need to get a Mexico jersey because I don't have.
Right? Yeah, no, I was like, oh, I'm going to wear it. I was like, it would have been smarter if I would have worn it last week for our World Cup episode, but
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, we won, and we made a little bit of history, so why not? It is World Cup summer anyway, so I was like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
exactly. I'm like,
fair.
you could wear it like for the rest of the month.
I was gonna say that I'm just gonna this is just gonna be my uniform for our recordings for the until further notice,
Yeah.
until basically until we win it, and then
Yeah, until we win.
retire. We'll retire it then. But yes, we're
Yeah.
excited. It's been a good week, like you said, for World Cup games. Today was pretty good too, and I'm looking forward to see what next week brings, because I don't even think
Yeah.
we know who we're playing next week, right? And we're playing Tuesday.
Yeah, we're
I think
playing
it's still
Tuesday. I
TBD.
think right now it's Sweden, but I don't know if it's still up in the air.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
I
know.
looked it up earlier and it said that it was still TBD. But I'm sure that
Yeah.
there's it could be Sweden.
Yeah. I think that's the last time I checked. I was like, it could be, but I don't know if it's official or not. But wish us luck. We're going to the finals. Just kidding.
Hell
Yay,
yeah!
sports. Just kidding.
Right? We have our chant ready. Okay.
Okay.
Mexico in 3, 2. No, just kidding. But yeah, I guess that'll be a bitch of recommendation if you guys aren't tapped into the World Cup yet. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, start watching it because it's gonna get real. People, it's like if you lose, you're out, babe. That's
Yeah,
how
it's
real it's
it's
getting.
cutthroat. Basically, if you lose, you're out.
Yeah, so
It's over for you hoes.
now's the time to join and start watching for the drama, the tears, the blood, sweat, and tears, all of it, all of the above.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
aside from that bitch up recommendation, did you have 11-11, make a wish? Mexico will win. Ask me.
Great, Lucy. Now we're not gonna win.
11-11 is magical.
I would just like to let the record show that if we get knocked out in this next round, it's Lucy's fault.
No. First of all, why are you putting that out in the universe?
You're the one that put it out in the universe.
Yeah, I'm putting positivity out, bitch.
First of all, it's
Positivity.
You're supposed to keep your wishes to yourself.
No.
Anyways,
Word of mouth, putting it out in the universe.
Over. I hope you already wish, because the minute is over.
Wow. Anyways, take it back.
Which brings us to, oh my god, that'd be funny if we start doing a make a wish segment. So it's like, what's our wish for today? We're gonna say it out loud because we just want to know what our wishes are.
Well, anyways, do you have a bitch up moment?
Yes, I do. My bitch up moment, and I won't say this week because it happened a few weeks ago, was that I tried to rescue a kitten a few weeks ago because I was excited to have a cat in my household again. I don't think I shared it with you guys, but we lost our cat earlier this year and it was devastating to our family. I think I was trying to fill the hole that he left, and there was a little stray kitten near our house.
Yeah.
So I wanted to rescue it. Yeah. So I thought the cat distribution had chosen me. And so I took this little kitten in, I gave it a bath against its will. No, it was like a sweet little kitten. And the little kitten had little eye boogers. So I tried to clean them. Anyway, I ended up taking it to the vet a few days later. The vet gave me antibiotics because it needed a lot of things, and unfortunately the little kitten didn't make it, so I was devastated again, which sucked. But I mean, at the end of the day, it gives me comfort to know that I tried to give it a good life, and hopefully for better or worse, I hope it felt love in the last days or the few days that it was with us. And yeah, so that was my bitch up moment. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, friend.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was my
I'm sure
moment. I tried to rescue a kitten and failed, but I took it as a learning lesson. And I also realized that I'm not ready to have another pet. I realized that I haven't finished mourning my cat, so I should probably chill for a minute before I try to adopt another cat.
Yeah.
And with
But it did
that,
feel love, I'm sure it did,
yeah.
and because 'cause you're such a great pet mom, so
Mhm.
even just the little days that your kitty had with you, I'm sure it felt loved
Yeah.
and went
I
in
hope
peace.
so. I hope
Mhm,
so. And it was a girly pup, so I was excited to kind of see what that dynamic would be like with Nala.
mhm.
But, things happen for a reason. And with that, I'll just say my recommendation is to adopt and not shop your pets. Make sure you guys adopt and rescue when you can. And that is my bitch up moment for this. I'd say this month because it happened earlier this month. I just didn't get around to telling you guys. But yeah,
Mhm. My
yeah.
bitch up moment is literally just rolling with it. As I mentioned last week, I was PMSing and I was right. Your girl is officially visited by her Aunt Flo. And I don't know
And she's
why
putting a brave face, you guys.
I don't know why mentally I'm just like, what's it
Fried.
called? Not fried. I don't know how to explain it, but mentally
Do you
I'm
feel like you're
trying.
in like a daze, or do you feel like you have brain fog? Like,
I don't know. I think, like I told you prior to starting, I think I'm just like a little morbid. Not morbid in the sense of like everything I think is dark, but I think mentally I'm just like it's I don't know how to explain it, but I'm trying to be positive because I keep checking myself. I'm like, you need to chill. I don't know if it's the hormones. I don't know if it's just I don't know what's
you're like,
happening.
fuck you, hormones.
Yeah, because I don't know if maybe it's because I stopped taking my prenatals because I wanted to see something. So I'm like, I don't know if my body just got really used to me taking my prenatals and my hormones being at
Yeah,
a certain level. And now that I'm like weaned off of it since I went to Italy because I didn't take them with me, that my body's just like, you know what I mean? So
it's
I
like
don't know if that's
it's what
like
is it?
what's
It's
happening.
plummeting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, so your
I
girl's
just think that
just
you're not
rolling
in
with it.
Italy no more, and your body's like going through it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but yeah. So that's my bitch up moment is that I'm rolling with the punches and I'm hoping she's under construction right now. And I'm hoping that, in the next week we'll be
Yeah,
back to feeling good. I think my mind's just been everywhere. I'm like thinking about a lot of things and then I'm like having a lot of like philosophical moments also. And
oh
then also I'm like, I
geez.
need to write. And then I'm like, what's happening? I'm like
Have you been
internal.
writing? Yeah.
No, I think I need to
Okay.
because my internal dialogue is just like a little ping
Fighting for
pong
its life.
tennis
Oh,
match. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. You're
Yeah,
like the
she's
little
going through
DVD recorder, like the little DVD thing.
it.
Do you
Yeah.
remember like when it was on the screen when it was like, "Dun, dun."
Yeah.
But well,
So, yeah.
hopefully this low means you're on your way back up soon, or maybe like
Mhm.
you're digging yourself out of it, since I think feelings are temporary. So
Yeah.
hopefully you just give yourself grace, because I feel like you're I feel like it feels like you're a little stressed out because you're trying to understand why this is happening. So you're trying to like rationalize why it's happening so that
Mhm.
you can get to the root of it and like fix it. But sometimes you just got to feel things and like, let it
Yeah.
wash over you.
And I think that's why I'm like, ooh, I don't like feeling this way. And then I'm also, like you said, I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling a certain way. But then at
Hmm.
the same time, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to feel like this, then like give me some type of emotion to feel, like whether it's just crying it out and that's what I need to do. But I don't feel like crying. So I'm like, how am I supposed to get rid of
I
this?
feel
How am
like,
I supposed to emote if nothing's coming to like,
do you feel
the surface?
what? Are you feeling angry then, if not sad?
No,
Are you
I don't, again, that's why I'm like, there's like just this morbid feeling or like this feeling, maybe impending doom. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's
oh
weird.
geez.
And somebody's going to be like, bitch, you're depressed. So that's why I'm like, maybe my hormones are really fucked right now because
You
I've
know
never
what?
had this like experience before, emotionally at least.
Yeah, and I think that could be scary if, like you said, you're not used to that,
Hmm.
and like maybe the things that you normally do to kind of get you out of that like funk or whatever are not
Hmm.
really working as you're used to. So that's why you're also kind of like, wait, then what's going on, But, try
Yeah.
to give yourself some grace, friend. Like I said, the
Yeah.
feelings are temporary, and maybe you need to write it out or something, do some
Yeah.
inner
Well, I
work or
think in the
something,
same way, I'm
or
like,
meditate.
I need to start doing more things for myself for sure. I think that's also where my mind's been going. I'm like, I just need to get up and do something, if it's just like getting out. And so, yeah, so that's where
Yeah,
I am
go
right now.
touch
I'm like,
grass.
Exactly. Go touch grass. So
I get
that's where
that.
we're
I've
at.
Yeah, I get that. But it's also could be the hormones. So just hang on for one more day. Yeah, because it could be the hormones too. Like there's been I feel like in like the past couple months too, like I go through it throughout my like period week. And I'm just like, oh my God, this freaking sucks. Like imagine being pregnant and shit and like how much more raging these hormones would be.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're thinking positive and we're hoping you feel better.
Thank you.
And
Rolling with the homies.
yeah. And it's summertime, so the sun's out. I feel like it was
Mhm.
warmer this week
It
too.
has been warm,
So
yeah.
definitely make sure you're getting some vitamin D, or even if it's just your feet that you're putting out in the sun.
Oh yeah, I've been barefoot, going barefoot everywhere. Like I literally went out to play with my nephew because he has like a little remote car that he can be in, and then I just control
Oh,
it.
nice.
So
Yeah.
we just walked around the neighborhood, and I was literally just barefoot. I'm like, I probably look like a crazy bitch or a crazy dirty bitch because I'm out here with my feet.
Not the dirty.
Yeah. But then we went because in where we live, there's like grass in the front, like once before you
Yeah.
enter a neighborhood. So I walked up there and we were just on the grass, just like I was literally barefoot. And people walk around and I'm like, yeah, they probably think I'm a dirty bitch. This bitch is out here barefoot. I'm like, I'm rooting myself, okay?
Here's the thing, you live in the suburbs. It's a very nice walkable neighborhood. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it'd be a bad like see if you were walking around my block barefoot, yeah, dirty bitch. Probably. No, just
No.
loca. It's like, "Sí, los muchachos del baile." No, just kidding. No, I'm sure. And then you were with Theo, so it's probably looking more wholesome than you thought. But I'm glad
Nah,
you're.
we'll
But I
see.
mean, don't
I don't
worry
know.
about what
People are
anybody else thinks.
judgmental. Yeah.
Well,
They're
yeah, but who cares?
like,
You're
well,
just
put
out
some
there
fucking
doing your.
chanclas on, you dirty bitch.
No, oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shelly's
People are
like,
out in
yeah, that's
chanclas these
me.
days. No, especially because you're like in the grass and you're like hanging out. It's different if you would just be like, I said, like I feel like if you were like walking around barefoot all around your block and stuff, like that would be a little weird. But like you were nearby your
Well, I
perimeter,
did go around the block, not like around the block,
the
but
little cul-de-sac. No,
yeah,
like
the
the
little
little,
like, yeah.
yeah,
So I was just like, oh, there we go. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like, okay, I went outside for a little bit. I got some fresh air, put my feet in the grass. So I did feel better, but I'm like, I need
You
to
know
write
what?
this out.
Yeah. You know what else I think you need? I think you need to be in a body of water. I think you need to be cooled
You know
down. I think you
what?
need margaritas.
I have
I
been wanting that. And we discussed that last week. And you know what? You ruined my algorithm because I know we talked about
why?
going to the beach and you're like, you guys, the beach is dangerous right now. The waves are really high. And I'm like, bitch, they're always fucking high. The beach is dangerous. I'm glad you finally got there. And now my algorithm has been like, high tide,
Okay, do you
sharks,
know what I've been talking
saltwater
about?
crocodiles. I'm like, are you fucking
Wait,
kidding me?
saltwater. I came across that too, literally
Yeah, I was like,
yesterday, and Australia too. Like
mine was
I
in Florida, and I'm like,
no, I literally went
didn't
through
we go
an
to that
Australian
beach?
deep dive.
I was
No,
like, wait, didn't Shelly and I go to that beach and we were just like frolicking in the water and there's saltwater crocodiles over there? What the fuck?
I was yesterday or this week old when I realized that you can't get into most of Australian beaches as beautiful as they are because there's like shit can kill you in there.
Oh
And
yeah,
by
no,
that
I
I
would
mean
never.
saltwater crocodiles. And I'd be like, oh, thank you for letting me know. Now I'm never going over there. No kidding. Like now I'm gonna demote it in my list of places I want to go because
Yeah.
it's like, what am I here for? I'm here to get a good tan and be in the water. But if it's not safe, then what am I doing?
And you know what's so
I'm
interesting?
not
That
gonna
a lot of
travel.
movies are
Yeah.
filmed in Australia too. And I'm like,
How?
is it because it's so dangerous that it's cheap to like film over there? You know what I mean?
But at what cost? Like you're gonna then you have like life insurance on these actors
Yeah, I
and
don't
if something
know.
happens to them. That's an interesting fact. I didn't know that.
We might have to look into that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, so I do need a body of water, but apparently it's all dangerous right now and I can't go in
No,
it
but
because
see,
I'll
this is what
drown and
I
die.
this and this is what I was telling my friend, my comadre the other day. Like, we just need a pool. We just need a pool. Like, let's go into a pool because it's safe. And we were just like, let's just go rent an Airbnb with a pool and just like chill there all day.
Let's go to Soak City or like a water park, you
Okay,
know.
not Soak City because everybody and they mamas is there. And by that I mean like everybody that lives in that area and everybody that lives on this side of town is
Mm.
always there. So it's always packed.
Is there
But
any other water park though? Because I
yeah,
didn't like
we
Wild Rivers get closed.
did it. Okay,
I
so
thought it
it,
was.
it was reopened not recently, but in recent years I thought
Oh.
they reopened it.
Oh, I
We have
thought it
to
was
look this up.
closed. Yeah, we have to look it
I
up.
know they closed Ranging Waters, and I know about Hurricane Harbor, but I haven't been to Hurricane Harbor in like years. Yeah, the closest one would be Soak City.
Yeah,
But
I think I just need a cleansing, an energy cleanse from salt
and
water. And
yes, so you
the
probably do
funny
need
thing
to
is that
soak
the
it in
water
water.
right now is warm, but that's why there's high tides because the water's mixing.
El
And then also the
Nino.
sharks are coming over because it's warm. Like, I can't wait. I just can't wait.
Anyway, we got to find you a body of water. Maybe just go
Yeah.
to Karina's pool area. Maybe that's what we should
Honestly,
do.
yeah,
Probably
maybe
just
that's what we should do. We should do a pool day and just float.
yeah.
And you know what I watched recently? Shallow Waters or The Shallows or whatever it's called with Blake
With Blake.
Lively.
Oh
Yeah, and I
shit.
was like, great.
Got you feeding into it. No wonder you're all erratic. No kidding. Like
Yeah.
was it dark waters, sharks, salt water? Like you're literally getting personally victimized by your algorithm right now.
Yeah, I think it's a sign. They're like, don't do it, babes. Like, okay, I won't. Well, yeah. I mean, if you guys have a safe body of water to get into, use it. And if you guys want to invite us, we're more than happy to go. You're like, speaking of, what is it? Speaking of nature and anything that could kill you.
Oh shit. Well,
No,
anyways,
just
okay.
kidding.
Yeah, I mean, there is no easy transition to our topic today, given all the range of things we've talked about in the past 15 minutes. But for this week, I suggested that we bring up bird behavior, birddom, bird mentality, and all
Bird
the
brain.
bird brain and all the other things related to birds. I brought this to Lucy's desk because I had been seeing it pop up in a lot of buzz. It popped up as a buzzword, I feel, in a lot of the content that I was getting in my algorithm, both on Instagram and on TikTok. And so it was kind
Mhm.
of, at first I was also like, what is this? Like, what is this bird term? And so I kind of started looking into it. And then it kind of made sense how I kept getting that kind of content because of all the other stuff that was happening in the Bravo reality universe and honestly reality TV in general, like even Love
Mhm.
Island and such, that people were talking about it and they kept or referring to women as the like birds or bird brain or having exhibiting bird behavior. And
Mhm.
then I thought it was interesting just because it felt like it was another iteration of it, just being a male centered woman. But I think as I started doing some more digging and kind of just looking at people calling out certain behaviors and certain people, I just thought like, oh, maybe this would be a fun topic to cover just because has anybody else heard this term? Does anyone know what a bird is? Is a call coming from inside the house? No, I'm kidding. Is anyone a caged bird right now? And then I started reflecting too. I was like, have I been a caged bird? And yeah, so it was an interesting dive on this.
Well,
What
can
did you
you
think about it?
describe what bird
You're
behavior
like,
is?
can you use it in a sentence?
Please.
Great question. Thanks for
For the
asking.
ones that don't know.
So what I thought was interesting when I looked up the term, because like I said, when I first came across it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And so naturally I went to Webster's Dictionary. No, kidding.
Like I thought you were going to say, naturally, I went to TikTok. I'm just kidding.
No, I first Googled the term and then it had like a variety. And then I went to TikTok, then I went to Reddit, and then I just kind of bounced around things.
Mhm.
And so there was a variety of definitions, especially because I feel like the bird is sort of derived from when people refer to bird brain, right? And
Mhm.
like I think so apparently it's like generally I also will talk about this too because of the gendered, like how it's a gendered term that typically is just referred to or used towards women, if you will.
Mhm.
But it says so generally a girl or young woman who comes across as vain, ditzy, stupid, or useless. And I was like, that's a little harsh, Gretchen.
Yeah.
And then I looked in more in terms of the slang meaning of the word, where it shows up as when people use a bird or bird energy or someone behaving like a bird, it carries like nuanced meanings to it, obviously, but
Mhm.
it's often used in a derogatory way. Some of the connotations are, as I mentioned, that it's a person exhibiting, mostly women, exhibiting male centered behavior. So it heavily describes a woman who lacks some self respect regarding her relationships, prioritizing male validation above all, or just constantly moving from maybe one toxic relationship to another. And there's also like an era of when people refer to people that have bird brain or bird behavior, they're also sort of like airheaded or just like you're not very pretty and you're not
You're
very
not very
bright.
bright. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it was just interesting seeing the different ways that the term was used to describe. But like I said,
Mhm.
at its core, it felt like it was describing a woman or a person behaving in a way that was male centered, that was really and usually that person had some sort of lack of respect for themselves or low self-esteem or things like that. So that's why I was like, oh, this reminds me a lot of when we've talked about, you know, women being male-centered or
Pick me's and
pick me's and stuff like that. But I
yeah.
thought that it was interesting that it was picked up as a buzzword, and a lot of the videos that I saw were, it was a little harsh, Gretchen. Like these girls are just like calling women out of their name and talking about certain movie, like they were talking about women that they see as bird women, or not bird women, but bird brained women are exhibiting this kind of behavior. And it was
Uh-huh.
interesting when they were drawing the comparisons against people that I not know, obviously parasocial, but like the reality TV people that I was that I'm familiar with, or even
Mhm.
just like artists and celebrities and such. And
Mhm.
then some people went through very interesting think pieces, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And that's why I was like, have I been a bird? Am I a bird? And then I was just not like right now, but like if I've ever been a bird, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that
I
was kind of it.
mean, I honestly hadn't really come across the whole like word slang of like bird behavior. I had heard the slang of bird, but when I first heard of it, it was actually through Love Island UK, because they would use that to describe just like attractive women, like, oh, or like a girlfriend per se, like, oh, how's your bird? You know what I mean?
So
So
was it
that's
like,
where
is it
I,
kind of like your chick, your
yeah, like the
woman,
American version of oh, that's my
your
chick,
woman?
that's my girl. That's, yeah, same thing, that same context, I guess you can say. So
Yeah.
when you brought in this whole topic, I was like, oh, I never really heard of it in a negative context. So it was definitely interesting having to look into it. And I was actually surprised with the history and how long it actually has existed, and like the evolution of the slang. And apparently, there was like a linguistic mix up when it came to the term like bird behavior or just bird in general, because around like the 1200s, or like 1200s to 1400s, there
Mhm.
was a Middle English word bird, so burde, or just bird burd,
Okay.
which meant maiden, young girl, or a woman of noble birth. And so that was also used as a title of like deep reverence for the Virgin Mary. Obviously, over time, the term bird, burde, sounded obviously similar to the actual
BIR.
bird, the animal version, right? So people started conflating that term, and assumed with, yeah, they assumed basically, and specifically writers assumed that it was more so like a compliment used in poetry, because birds are like known for being beautiful and having beautiful songs. So it was mostly, oh, it's a compliment, you're calling a woman a beautiful bird.
Yeah.
And then obviously by like the 15th century, the original meaning of bird faded, and it was mostly in poetry. So then from there, it kind of starts picking up again, where it's like now we're using the animal term of bird to relate to a woman.
Hmm.
And I think it was in the mod era, specifically in the British working class. So like think like 19, maybe the 1900s to like the 1970s in general. Apparently in their culture, specifically in London, there was a reemergence of the term in criminal slang. So they have this word called birdlime, and they rhymed it with bird time. So it basically just meant people who were serving time in prison. This is where we get like jailbird and all
Oh,
that stuff, right? So
yeah.
obviously over time the phrase shortened and it became just like you're doing bird instead of like doing time, you're doing bird. And I was like, okay, well, what's bird lime? And apparently it's like some kind of like sticky substance where they put it like on the branches and on twigs, and when birds land on it, like their feathers get stuck on it, so it's very difficult for them to escape. And so it's basically like a trap for birds.
Yeah,
And
I was
so
gonna
that's where
say,
bird lime came from. So then I guess, when you're in jail, you're like kind of
you're
trapped.
trapped in
Yeah,
there.
in a
Yeah.
cage in some sense.
Yeah.
So all of that transpired to like when women started visiting prisoners or like people who were doing bird, right? Like that slang shifted to where bird was not used to describe a woman who was
Mm,
regularly associated with criminals or visited them while they were
wow.
doing time. And so it basically tied her identity directly to the
Two.
prison sentence or to the person that she was visiting. And I was like, oh, because I was curious. I was like, okay, so how do you go from calling someone a jailbird to calling the person that visits them a bird, right? Because then it's
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're a jailbird and by association, you're a bird too, because you're constantly visiting this person.
Yeah. You're
So,
associated to them. You're a
yeah.
prison bay. You're a bird bay.
Yeah, basic. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, like I forget what the term was where it's like a prison, like something when someone like purposely goes to like visit criminals and like basically get into relationships with them or something. Like that's like a whole other thing. But
That, yeah, there's a subculture
yeah, there's
of
a whole
that.
subculture
Yeah.
there. Yeah. And then apparently in the 1960s, and this is like during the British invasion and whatnot, specifically like the Beatles and like the Rolling Stones started using the term bird to mean like a young, attractive woman or a girlfriend. And this is again where we get to the whole slang term of like, oh, that's my bird, that's my chick, right? Again,
Right.
American,
Yeah.
like that's the comparison that you can make. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, because that again, that's the context that I've always understood it at. And then apparently in like American hip hop in maybe like the 90s and the 2000s, that's when the term crossed completely into American slang. And then that's when it became derogatory because now it was being used as a way to target women and insult them basically.
Yeah.
Again, you mentioned like bird head or, bird
Bird
brain,
brain.
but
Yeah.
in that instance, it was more so used to describe a woman who was perceived to be
Dumb.
like no more superficial, like they were very
Oh, yes.
materialistic, very loud, and
Vain.
yeah,
Yeah.
also dumb, yeah, like they were lacking
Like
intelligence, but they were
airheaded. Yeah.
yeah. So it did play on that whole term of like, oh, she's a bird brain, like all she cares about is like money and wealth
She's
and like
vain. She's
yeah,
vapid.
status.
Yeah.
Exactly. And some songs that people used as an example is like Chicken Head by like Project Pat and like 3 6
Mm.
Mafia and I think LaChat, where the slang, even chicken in itself, is also kind of it's an intersectionality of being a bird brain. It's
Yeah.
also insult.
Chicken is a bird.
Yeah, it's part
It's
of
a
the
type of
bird
bird.
kingdom.
Yeah. No,
Part of
seriously. It's
and so
it's part of the family. Just
yeah,
kidding.
they're cousins. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So
Points
yeah,
of the
so
group.
then you see in the 2000s a lot of references to birds, chickens. I think one of the songs that I think stood out to me that I remember was Nelly's song. I think it was like I forgot what it was called. And like I
Yeah.
feel like Nelly has like a lot of references to birds. And I think until I was like listening or looking into like the whole history of the term bird, I was like, wait, this whole time they were referencing women as birds and like seeing them like as a flock. When you have a flock of women, you have like a flock of birds, and
Birds
it's
of a
like,
feather flock
yeah, birds.
together.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, wait, my mind was completely blown. I was like, I never really listened to these lyrics. And so when they were saying like birds or whatever, in my mind, I was like, oh, yeah, it's just a hot girl.
You're like it's a metaphor for a hot girl.
Yeah. And I'm like, little did I know, it was like, oh, they weren't like necessarily saying they're not hot, but they also weren't like complimenting them. They're like, yeah, you're materialistic,
It's
you're after
still
my money.
derogatory
Yeah,
to
it's
them.
derogatory. Yeah. And even in the
And
2010s, it
further
was still
objectifies
used.
women. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I think who was it? J. Cole in No Role Models.
Yeah.
He also uses the term bird in it.
He
He's like,
does,
she
yeah.
deserved that. She's a bird. It's a bird trap. And I was like,
and
Wait.
and my wait, no, I love this because like a lot of the like the think pieces that I saw are just people commenting on that were very heavy on the don't save her, she don't want to be saved.
Yeah, and I was like,
Which is part of
that
the
makes
note.
so much sense now. I was like,
I was like,
wait.
J. Cole, the lyricist that you are. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
that's
oh.
it's just like you're just like putting everything together. At least he
Yeah.
has his big whiteboard. He's just like has
You
all
know
the
that meme with the guy that has like the
yeah,
whiteboard?
yeah, Charlie Day from It's Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was literally me when I was doing the research. I was like, wait, these lyrics, I'm like, so all of these songs that have bird references in them, I'm like, it's derogatory, but it's also talking about like attractive women. And I'm just like, where have I been all my life? Like,
Right. It's
I've,
interesting because
yeah.
it's like, wait, what? Like it just adds a whole new layer of meaning to these songs and the words used in it.
Well, it's not, and I think I was a little bit more perplexed too because I'm like, well, it's not just men using the word. Also, you have like women using the word
Mhm.
birds. Or like, I think Lotto is one of those artists too that has used the word birds. And then I was also looking into Cardi B because I remember when her first album came out, she had a song called Bickenhead, which is sampling Chicken Head with the
Mhm.
beat and everything. But it's a very similar, like the lyricism is very similar, but it's more so where chicken head, I guess you can say, is more derogatory and like talking shit. Bacon
Mhm.
head is more so like empowering and like kind of flipping it on its head and being like, you can be a bad bitch, you can get your own money, blah 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 blah, but you're still talking about a woman. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're a chicken head, but you can. So I was like, obviously, I don't know
You're a
if
chicken
it's,
head in the sense that you're in it for the money, but instead of you relying your association to a man or like a man providing for you, you're seeking out the money
yeah.
yourself, right?
And I
And
guess it
you're
could
the one
also
that's
be like
producing.
you as a woman have been called chicken head because you're a woman and it's been derogatory and you know,
Mhm.
maybe you live a certain lifestyle or you have grown up in a certain, you know, how would you say, like culture or whatever, right? So now it's like, okay, I'm going to turn this upside down. And again, like woman empowerment. And it's like,
Appropriate. Yeah.
yeah, and like take it back.
Reclaim it,
Reclaim
basically.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was like, oh, that's because I always wondered. I was like, I never looked into Bacon Head. I know it was a sample of Chicken Head, but I never put like two and two together because I honestly didn't
Yeah.
bother to even look into it. But I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that was... So when we were doing this, I'm like, wait, Cardi B had a song. I thought Cardi B has made several references to like chicken or something. So I was looking through her albums and I saw Bacon Head and I was like, wait, this is a sample of Chicken Head. And I was just listening to the lyrics. I was like, oh, so
And
that's what she was trying to do.
not that like there's a direct correlation, but wasn't her recent album artwork like also like bird stuff?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Ravens, yeah, crows, something
ravens.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I would be wondering because she's like, am I the drama? But then also like when you look at her albums and like the songs, I think it is like she is talking shit about somebody. It is directed towards somebody, whether it's like herself, whether her ex-husband or people
Yeah.
she's been beefing with. So it's
Mhm.
like, I guess now looking at the art, I'm like, is like the crows either like, what does a crow mean? And
Mhm.
is it association with like funeral, the death of like her old self, the death of
That's
feuds,
what
the
I
death of her
thought.
divorce? But then now that we're talking about birds, is it also like the people that surround her and the birds that surround her? Is it also supposed to be like a derogatory thing of like the people who surround her and are kind of like watching her, if that makes sense? I don't know. So that'd be interesting to look into.
Yeah, because
Um,
there could be like there's a lot of layers there because you like you
yeah.
said it could be tied to the death of herself or different aspects of her life like the relationship and everything, or
Mm-hmm.
it could also be her reclaiming it or actually meaning it towards other people around her that are engaging in the behavior. And even
Mm-hmm.
just when we were talking about like birds of a feather, I think usually the connotation for that phrase is usually that like you don't think for yourself, like you're just like going with the flow of what other people are thinking, and that's why it's like they flock together and they kind of just like do what they each other does. So like, oh, interesting
Yeah.
bird analogies and metaphors.
Yeah. So now every time there's a bird anywhere, I'm
I
like,
gotta meet that goddamn bird. No, I'm just kidding.
who's the bird?
Gotta meet this freaking
Oh, the
bird.
bird told me. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta
Gotta
meet this
meet this fucking
goddamn
bird.
bird.
Yeah. Interesting. But that's so cool like to think about it like you said, if you look back at the history of it and how we got here and how it flipped from it being something more positive or affirming to women and femininity, if you will,
In a
to,
way.
well, back then, right, when it was like, oh, like it being a compliment, right, and then when it flipped to something being more derogatory, and
Yeah. And
the
then
people that have tried reclaiming it too.
yeah, I mean, because people could say it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because you're still kind of dehumanizing women if you're calling
Yeah.
them a bird or a chick, even
Yeah.
though it's supposed to be complimentary. But
But it's
again,
only complimentary if you're like within like thinking about the male gaze and
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
patriarchy in that structure, it's meant to be that. But you as a woman within that system, no, there's nothing
yeah.
positive out of that.
And then we get into like the whole TikTok aspect, right? Where you mentioned now, I think knowing the history and the evolution of the term, where it went from something quote unquote positive to something derogatory to now something that's not necessarily associated with materialism and more so associated to the standard of like relationships.
Hmm.
I think that was interesting because I'm like, oh, how did we get from
Here.
it? Like, yeah, how did we get here? How did all of a sudden having bird behavior have to do with type of relationships that you have, whether it's with your friends or romantic relationships or just relationships in general, right? Because like you said, it goes into describing women's habits, right? And it became a critique of their behavior where they're basically
Yeah.
calling out women who settle for crumbs, I guess is the best
Yeah.
way to say it, right? And they have low standards for their relationships. In those contexts, people are often comparing them to, birds that beg for like scraps or like settle for the scraps that fall on the floor when you're eating, right?
That's a pigeon. No, just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. No disrespect to the pigeon community. God bless you guys.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting because I was like, oh, like I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me in the sense I guess you could say it's like yeah, they're birds because a bird brain is tiny, but it's just because it's a tiny bird. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But I'm like when in the behavior are birds, usually they're very
I was
flighty, but
like,
I guess that's why they say that women are birds because they're like oh, they're flighty and they're like weak and like sensitive and it
yeah, it's meant
right?
to just put women in cages again and in boxes and to associate them with being small and meek and like
Mhm.
easily like malleable or easily swayed or influenced, especially when you let yourself be influenced by a man and believe what he tells you. Which I would just like to say that birds are not dumb. They're some of the smartest creatures I've ever known.
Mhm.
What really did come across my desk about a week or two ago was the study that they were doing with those little parakeet or the little lovebirds. And what they did was that they had all these birds, right? And they had them in different locations and like different like people that own them or whatever.
Mhm.
And so they would call each other to FaceTime with each other, right? And so they learned how to like FaceTime people and they would just like spend their day calling their little friends on FaceTime. And then they would be on FaceTime just like just doing their little thing. And there was just like a back and forth of communication between them. And then you would find that like the birds that called the most would get the most callbacks and they were just the most sociable birds. And they even got to know like the owners of their like respective like friend birds. And it was just like,
Mhm.
oh, they're such social like creatures. And they were also very smart because they picked up to like on phones or iPads or whatever, they were like the ones, like knocking in to kind of like call. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so cool. Anyways, birds are not dumb. Justice for birds. This
The PR for birds right now is not PRing. We're here to
it's not, and I'm
rehabilitate
here to
the
combat
PR.
against it. Wow, this really became a nature's podcast today. From sharks to crocodile saltwater
To
kittens
birds. To
to
kidding. Yeah.
birds.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
honestly, it felt, yeah, as I was like going through the TikToks, I felt like some of them I felt a little harsh and it came off more judgmental. And I would have liked to see a little bit more of people thinking a little bit more with like empathy of why women
Mhm.
are exhibiting this kind of behavior, because what seems to be a common thread is like, well, yeah, you see common behaviors or similar behaviors where they're male centered or where like they give up their own self-respect and integrity for a man or a relationship, or to believe a person, or to associate them or in support of a man or in pursuit of a man, right?
Mhm.
But then you kind of try to get at like, okay, but why, like what's the common thread here? And it feels like these women are have low self-esteem, maybe insecure, maybe have some sort of childhood wound, whether it's like a
Mhm.
father abandonment, or they've been deeply wounded by men. At the end of the day, these girls are just lover girls, and they just want to be seen, and they want to be loved, and they want to be pursued. Unfortunately, they're just not navigating that very well, and to their own detriment, they're like putting themselves in these cages, these literal cages. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so it's just like, oh, that sucks that people are like attacking women that do this, but then at the same time it's kind of like, what got us here, you guys? Like, what got these women here? Like, what do they go through, or what happened to them psychologically that makes them more prone to being there? Because as I said earlier, with the don't save her, she don't want to be saved, it seems to be a very common sentiment that a lot of these women are just, they're where they want to be, so they're like,
Mhm.
don't even try saving them. Like, they're where they want to be, and unless like the call from comes from inside the house and they're actually trying to do the work to get out of that kind of toxic behavior or dynamic, they're not
Yeah.
going to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, like you said, there's a lot of intersectionality when it comes to women who are in toxic or violent relationships, right? I think oftentimes, obviously, bird behavior is mostly used when it comes to romantic relationships, specifically with men. And I know you mentioned that there has been like a reclamation. How do you say it? Reclamation?
Reclaiming.
Yeah, like someone reclaiming. It's
Yeah.
reclamation of the term bird behavior. And it's mostly been reclaimed by women to kind of shift it again from being this derogatory term used
Mm-hmm.
by men to look down on women. And it's again shifted to now being a form of like tough love, as you mentioned, and almost keeping women accountable. However, like you said, I do think it is a little harsh, and there is a sense of victim blaming in using the term,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, when you use that term, like you said, you are shaming women for her poor judgment rather than holding the person who is being violent or toxic accountable. So
Yeah,
in a way, it's still misogynist. You're still
it
being
is.
misogynist
Yeah,
towards that person because you're like, and again, I know it's frustrating. I'm sure we've all had
we've
situations
all had
where,
bird friends. It's
yeah,
part of it's part of girlhood. It's part of your passage as a girlhood,
I wouldn't
a
even say
girlfriend.
it's part of the passage. I just think that
You will come
we are
across girls that,
we're
yeah,
just so groomed now
yeah,
to accept men's behavior as it is what it is. Men are men, men are dogs, which, you know, is a term that's used towards men, but I think it's very different because I think the term of being like men are dogs, it's more so like excusing the behavior, like that's just
yes.
how there is, that's
It's
their
just how it
nature.
is. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like,
and you
no, that's
accept that versus like a woman who is
being held
considered a
accountable.
bird. It's like we're holding them accountable, but it's like at the end of the day, she's the victim of this person's bad behavior, and you're excusing it because you're like, oh, they're never going to change, instead of holding them accountable for it and calling them out. I think the problem here, and the question is like, how did we get here? It's like because we keep excusing men's behavior because we're like, we're not holding them to the standard that we're holding all of these women who are going through all of these things. At the end of
Right.
the day, they're still a victim. Yes, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like they've been groomed in, whether, like you said, from childhood, whether it's a
You've
culture thing, a
socialized.
religious thing,
We
it's
live in a
socialized.
patriarchal society, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, and women are notoriously always blamed for everything, especially in relationships. And
Yeah.
that's not to take away the responsibility, right? Because to a certain point, you get old enough to a point where like you can't continue down like this spiral. Like, something needs to change.
Hmm.
You have to do some inner work too. But I agree that you are putting all the responsibility on the woman,
Hmm.
and that's inherently misogynist when you know that we operate off of like a patriarchal society, and the system, the power dynamics and relationship dynamics in general are already setting us up for failure, or we're like on the shitty end of the stick. And to your point, it's like, instead of calling out these behaviors and the perpetrators of these behaviors, we're very much just focusing on the women that allow this behavior to happen, um, instead of
I'm
trying to,
also just mocking them too, because a lot of these people aren't necessarily like, at least the people that I've seen use like, oh, she has
yeah.
bird behavior. It's not coming out of a place of love. It's
No,
coming out
that's
of
what
a
I'm
place of
saying. We need to
mock.
be a little bit more
Yeah.
compassion. Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
like
oh,
I
she's such a bird. It's like you are literally
yeah.
blaming this person and mocking them for allowing herself to be vulnerable or for being passive or for, again,
Yeah.
accepting mistreatment, whatever it is. Like, I
Yeah.
understand the frustration. And this is not to take any accountability off of women. I do
Right.
think that at a certain point, you're an adult and you need to start taking responsibility for the people that you do choose because we can't continue to choose these men at the
Yeah, it's
same
a
time,
pattern
right?
behavior that you have
Yeah.
to recognize at some point. No,
But
I
I do
agree
agree that I
completely.
don't necessarily believe that women, specifically women calling other women birds, is like the best way to go about it because you
And then
can't
you
kick while somebody's down. Like they're less likely to
and
take
and
that
that's
criticism if you keep like, you're dumb bitch.
here's
It's like, I know I'm a dumb bitch. I don't need you to remind me. I
well,
just
and for
need some empathy here.
yeah, exactly. And
Me calling her
honestly,
a dumb bitch. Sorry.
no, and here's no, and here's my hot take on that. People that literally sit like that use that term to like call women out of their name and to essentially try to assert themselves as like being better than because they don't quote
I would
participate in this kind of
never. Yeah.
yeah,
The Becky
it's
G
give
thing. I
it's
would
giving
never.
it that's giving bird to me, that's giving
Oh,
pick me because you're going out of your way to try to like establish, oh, that's them, this is me, like I don't do that, like when we've talked about pick me, people be like, oh, like I just wouldn't do that, like that's not the type of person I am, or this isn't that. It's like no, by you doing that it feels very pick me of you. Yeah, just because like you said, you shouldn't kick someone when they're down, and especially if we notice, like I said, I feel like at the end of the day a lot of these people, they're just lover girls. They want to be loved. They want to be seen. They want to be pursued. And unfortunately, they're just looking for it in all the wrong places. And as I mentioned before, for a lot of factors like low self esteem or because they don't know any gooder, they accept the love that they think they deserve. And for all we know, they never saw what a healthy relationship looked like, what it is to be in a relationship with a partner that respects you, that considers you, that, values you for more than what you bring to the table and what you can
mhm.
do for them.
Yeah. And I think this is again where community comes into play because, like we mentioned, instead of a community coming around a woman and calling her dumb or unintelligent because she's accepting the the toxic behavior from this person, that
Yeah.
community should surround the woman, bring her up, but also hold the other person accountable. And specifically, a community, not just a community of women, a community of men. Men are just
Yes.
as responsible and should be calling out this bad behavior. And women, yes, you should also be calling out bad behavior or toxic behavior from women, but
You
not
need it to be
necessarily
from
calling.
inside too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it is for sure. Like there are toxic women and there's toxic men, but excusing the behavior isn't great. And so I can see why people are like, you're having bird behavior, but it's
Hmm.
mostly because you're being dumb because you're accepting this shit
Yeah.
versus like, hey, like, maybe let's surround you, let's uplift you, but it's also call out these people and make sure that this behavior in general is not accepted. Like it's not accepted for you to be a cheater and a liar. I don't give a fuck if you say it's in the nature of men. No, it's not.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't
it's
say
it's
men are
never.
dogs when dogs are supposedly the most loyal animal you could have. So make it make sense because it does make sense to
It doesn't
me.
make sense. Yeah. And I think that's a good call out that it has to be a collective effort from both men and women or whomever is participating in this relationships because I feel like it really does feed into the patriarchy when your world revolves around this person or like every action that you're taking is in relation to a man, right? Whether it's you
Mhm,
affirming the behavior that you're seeing your own guy friend participating in with their like loved one, whether it's
mhm.
condoning or whatever, or whether it's you actually being in the relationship and like calling these things out. It is very interesting because I feel like people come from a place where like shaming people is going to cause action and change, but I don't think people work that way. I've seen some dynamics in like relationships, whether it's like friendships or familiar ones or like relationship ones, where their go-to is to try to shame their partner or that person into changing, right? Like it's like,
Mhm.
and that's what it feels a lot that's going on here, like you're shaming the women for behaving in this way and making them feel like stupid or whatever, but it's like I don't think that's gonna actually cause any change, right? If anything, the person's gonna feel more dumb and their self-esteem is already low, they're already vulnerable. how is that going to help them? Or, how's that going to add to them in
I
any
mean,
way?
it is hard though, because obviously you have people that are so male centered
Yeah,
that any form of like, even just a comment like, hey, babe, like, personally, I don't think that what he did was right. And some people will take that as like, you're just jealous that I have a man. You're just jealous that he's
that's
my
very
man.
narrow-minded. Yeah, my
And
man, my man, my
my
man.
man. And unfortunately, people like that do exist.
They
And
do,
so
yes.
when
Because
that
again, we've been
happens,
socialized to be this way.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so if that, and I more so am like, if you have friends like that and they're like, you're just jealous, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time for you to like,
Respectfully, goodbye. Just kidding.
goodbye. And
Yeah.
just, there's
Well,
nothing that
yeah,
you can do at that
I
point.
agree.
And
Yeah.
if that relationship dies off because she's like, my man, then that person was not meant to be in your life, and good riddance. And if they
Yeah.
happen to come back into your life because they realized, hey, like, la, 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 at the end of the day, it's like also for you to use your discernment. And you're like, do I need
Yes.
people like this in my life? And if you know for a fact
Right.
that you don't want people like that around you, then this is where
Just
boundaries
made.
come in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's something that I wanted to highlight too. Like, as much as we're saying, let's have a little bit more compassion, let's have a little bit more empathy for the women that are partaking in some of these relationships, especially if you know them, whether it's your friends, cousins, sisters, whatever. But there's also, like you said, you have to have the discernment to also know your boundaries, right? Like, as much as I
Mhm.
love my friend and I see her acting like doing stupid behavior because she's centering men, or because like her whole world revolves around this person, like at best you can call it out, you can try to bring it to her attention, you could like do it in a way that you're like, hey, like I don't think this is right, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're going to do whatever they want, and like
Mhm.
at least you did your part, and then you will feel okay with walking away if like they don't want to be saved. Like there's only so much you can do, especially because again, like the call has to come from inside the house. Like they have to like recognize that and want more for themselves, want better for
Yeah.
themselves. And that only comes when you do the work of recognizing your self-worth, and for you to not compromise that at this, at the stake of having a man or being in proximity to the man or in pursuit of a man, right? So,
And I
yeah.
will say, I mean, not all things require you to like dead the relationship, you know what I mean?
Right. But
Because
you
I
can
can see
definitely
like,
distance yourself
yeah, you
from
can
that
definitely
person.
distance or even just not have the conversation anymore, or drive
Yes.
the conversation a certain way. Because I've also found myself sometimes where I've had friends that complain about the same thing over and over again about their
I
partner.
was gonna, yeah,
And
I
I
was
was
gonna
just like, my way of approaching that now, even though I'm like, okay, I can only give you so much advice and I could only do it in so many ways. So it's like my approach now, it's like, okay, well, how does that make you feel? And is that something that you're willing to look past if you're going to
accept,
stand
or yeah,
accept moving forward? Because clearly it's a pattern and we've seen this before. So like, what are
yeah,
you going to do about it? Is this something that you can look past? Because if you
yeah.
can't, then you know your answer. If you can, then there's no reason of
Then
complaining
you just
about
have
it if
to
you're going to
like,
continue
yeah,
to allow it. So,
yeah.
and I
And
think that's, and I know for some people that might seem harsh or could come off harsh because again, I've
I
been
love your
accused of
little,
being very harsh, but
you're
at the
like,
same time, it's like, this is how I choose. I'm like, I'm trying not to be judgmental and I'm
yeah,
not trying to judge your relationship. But at the
yeah,
same time, I'm like, there's a pattern here. And I know you've recognized it clearly because we're talking about it. But at the same time, it's like, whatever you're going to do, how are you going to do it? And
because
these
the
are your
onus is on
options.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No, and I have seen you navigate those kinds of discussions, right? Privately, when, in our own
Hmm.
setting and such. And yeah, no, I think that that's a pretty healthy way of approaching it, because it also allows you to not be, not necessarily so emotionally invested, but it could be very draining sometimes when you take on your friends, whether it's their problems, their emotions and stuff, because you empathize with them, right? That you
Hmm.
want to come to their rescue, or you want to help them, right? At the end of the day, you just want to help your friend, and you try to, but sometimes it's tough because again, like your friend is always going to do whatever the fuck they want at the end of the
Yeah.
day, and they can take what you say with a grain of salt, and or it could resonate and they could actually action on
You
it.
can sit there,
But
get your ass beat. You can sit there, get your ass beat. You can sit there, get your
yeah,
motherfucking ass
so
beat.
then you, at some point, like you as a person, as a friend, for your own mental health, have to draw that boundary of like, look, I can't save you, I can't fight your battles, I can
I
support
can't
you,
make the decision for you. I can't
yes,
break up with your man for you because you
exactly.
don't
I
want me
mean,
to. I mean, you can
Give
if
me
you ask
10.
me.
Give me 10. Yeah, give
Ask
me 10.
Shelly if
Give
you
me
want.
10.
If you want to break up with your man, but you can't. Shelly
I
will
will
break up with your
gladly break up with someone's man.
for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. It's like my favorite. You know what? I could have really made a side hustle out of that.
You still can, friend.
Right?
Break up with your
I'm
boyfriend
literally gonna start one of those like Instagram. Like, have you ever seen those TikTok lives where like girls pay girls to like
to call their
do
man to see if they're
the
cheating.
loyalty test? Yeah, but
Yeah,
except I will be getting money to just break up with your
break up with them.
boyfriend. That's so
Let's
much
do
fun.
it.
Give me 10. Let me cook here. No I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, you definitely do have to sort of set those boundaries, especially because one of the common things that I saw when when people were talking about bird behavior, etc., was that you have this person who keeps being wronged by their partner relationship, whether it's like serial cheating, whether it's verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever the situation.
Hmm.
And they always obviously come to you to like talk about it, whatever, but they're also not willing to leave, right? Or not willing to change something. So that's why a lot of people say, like, people are exactly where they want to be. They don't want to be saved or whatever. But that's where it gets a little bit tricky, and that's where it is a little bit more nuanced, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like, there's a lot of more complexity in people, and sometimes it is really hard for people to walk away from those types of situations because of their mental state, right? Whether it's
Hmm.
a low self-esteem or whatever, and it is really hard for them to get out of that. It is difficult to navigate too, of like, how can I be there for you and help you when also like I can't break these things
Yeah.
on your behalf. Like, it has to come from
Yeah.
you.
And like you said, I think when it comes to that, it's like you really need to think about where a person is mentally to accept that kind of behavior, right? Because if you're like, I would never, it's because you're not in that mental state, right? So
Right.
it's like you said, you have to put yourself in their shoes. It's like clearly they've done their big one on this person for them to accept that type of behavior,
Mhm.
because it's like, I know my friend, right? I know she would never.
That is not her.
That is not my
Yeah.
friend. I don't know who that is,
Yeah.
but that is not my friend. But if I know
Yeah.
that's not my friend, then I know she's really fucked up and needs all the support and help. And if that means bringing in all the community and being like, hey, but also,
Yeah, have an
yes, there is a
intervention.
point where it's like you as a if you're the person that's going through it, then it's like you also need to take accountability and get yourself out of it too, because it's like your friends or your community can only help so much to get you out
Yeah.
of that. And like if you do get out of it, make sure to take the steps to ensure that that never happens again. And I don't mean never date another man, never trust another man, but more so make sure you're doing the work to
Love
understand why you
yourself
got, yeah,
more.
why you
Yeah.
got there, how you got there, what you can do better next time, because it's not necessary. Like you also, like I said, you have to take responsibility as well, because it
Yeah.
wasn't just things done to you, but it's also like, okay, how can I make sure that I am reading the
The
room, reading
sign.
the signs, not ignoring the
And
flags.
yeah. And honestly, like, just going back to what you said earlier of like holding the men accountable too, because like these
Hmm.
men are so fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
they've evolved to the point where they will come to you on some bullshit, acting like they have emotional intelligence, that they are self aware, that they are doing the work, when
Hmm.
meanwhile they're just master manipulators. They know what to say, they know what to do, they know how to fake the intimacy. So it is hard out there too. I just wanted to kind of call back to what you said of
Hmm.
holding the men accountable too, in the sense that it's not just you, it's also them that are behaving in this way and taking advantage of you because you are in a vulnerable position, because you have low self-esteem, or whatever is going on with you emotionally or mentally.
Yeah.
So it is just,
Yeah,
it's tough
guys,
out
don't be
there for
afraid to
everybody.
call out your home dogs, okay? Don't be afraid to call them
Yeah.
out and be like, hey, you're being a motherfucking liar. You're being a cheater. You're being rude. Call
You're
them
being
out.
insincere. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Because at the same time, it's like men care about what other men think. So
Yes.
if you know your friend, if you have a good relationship with your guy friends, obviously they care what you think. And if you call them out on your shit, guess what? They're going to care what you think. Especially if you're like one of those guys that people look up to you, like definitely take advantage of that in a
And
good
this
way, right?
is
Use your
and this
power
is
for
where my
good.
second hot take comes into play. Men are birds.
The little show, they're dancing, but for other
Men are
birds.
birds. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, literally, men can be birds. Can also be birds. It's not just women. They try to project and deflect onto women. as they do with everything else. But
No, I mean, I think at this point, I'm very much of like, we should just not be using any animal terms to describe anybody
yes, because
because
it's
it's like, let's stop
derogatory,
with the
it's
dehumanizing.
dehumanizing.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
stop.
Because
Let's get
that's
it
what it makes it
together.
easier for, like, psychologically for someone to do wrong to a person and not feel bad about it because they have dehumanized them, they've objectified them. This is why men have literally gone around for centuries, for literally since the beginning of time,
Hmm.
literally getting away or just having no remorse over the things that they do to women because they, in their mind, it's either justified, warranted, or like they don't even matter like that. Like, they don't even give you that kind of respect to be like, oh, that is fucked up. Oh, I shouldn't be behaving in that way because they've objectified you, especially when you're in the dating scene, right? Where
Hmm.
men are looking at you as an object, something to explore, something to experience, especially at the very beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is why women have gotten so far as they have, at least sociologically, right? Because I think there is certain standards that are being upheld. But this is
Yes.
why men have also fallen behind emotionally with their emotional intelligence because they're not being held to the same standards that we're holding other women to, right? So
Yeah.
imagine if you're holding men accountable for these things, and not only are we as women holding them accountable, but their own,
Doing the same.
men are doing the same. It's like, okay, so we can evolve. Like the single epidemic or whatever loneliness epidemic wouldn't be what it is if you guys made the effort to actually be a good person and evolve as a good being and do
Yeah.
the work to actually do good in
Unlearn all the
society and
things.
unlearn all the negative things that you're doing, because again, it's a patriarchal system that's affecting everybody, not just women. It's affecting men, obviously.
Yeah.
And if we continue to work in that system, shit's not going to get done, shit's going to
It's
continue to
not going to get
break.
any better because this is
Yeah.
what got us here in the first place. Literally, patriarchy is why we're here, right? So, yeah, no, I agree with what you
Use your
said.
patriarchal privilege to hold other
Yes.
men
Be a fucking
accountable.
ally. Be a fucking ally. And then we'll all win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about this with my boyfriend recently where we were talking about feminism and just like the negative associations with feminism and how it's
Mhm.
like women that identify themselves as feminists could sometimes come off as like, oh, you're against men or you hate men. I was like, tell me more. No kidding. And then, and kind of just some of the misconceptions with it. And I was like, no, that's what literally the right and all the other people that are idiots want to make you believe that feminism is, so that they vilify it so that people are against it. Men shouldn't think that like their rights or there's a threat against that because of feminists or feminist ideals, if you will, when it's like
Mhm.
we're just like we recognize the like what a threat patriarchy is to our livelihoods, to our well-being, but we also recognize that it's also a problem to you and it's also
And our
oppressive to
children.
you and our children.
Mhm.
So it's just like we're not trying to off with the men. We're trying to save y'all too because y'all don't fucking get it. No kidding. But so it's just kind of like we're on the
They
same
don't want to
boat.
be
Like,
saved,
yeah.
Shani.
What did I say? Men are birds. Men are the birds. Men are the fucking birds. No, just kidding. No, men can be birds. But anyway, it's a circle. No, I'm kidding. But
A
yeah, it was very interesting. We're
circle of
just talking about that, and
life.
yeah, we're just talking about how it's important for there to be allyship. That it's not like pitting men against women, women against men, or us being in competition with each other. Because first of all, we're not the same. Don't get it twisted. We're not the same,
No, we're not.
but we all have a right to, our unalienable rights. No, I'm kidding. A right to have like freedom, body autonomy, and like access to things. And it shouldn't be of because I get this, you're getting less than. No, like that's not the way to think about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just interesting how it really all just goes back to patriarchy and misogyny and racism like everything else. But I don't know. I think it was interesting to go through this deep dive. And I was even reflecting on, like, oh my God, have I ever exhibited in bird behavior?
I mean, I'm
And,
sure we all
and we
have
have,
been there
yeah.
because,
Like,
like you said,
especially
it's all like it's
it's
a pick
part,
me, it's male
listen,
centered. We've all been
we,
male centered, but I will not identify as a bird because I'm a fucking intelligent woman, and I will not
yeah,
be reduced to that just because I was played by a man once in my life. Just kidding.
I know,
Several
I love
times.
that. I love that take. And it's true because it's like put the accountability back where it should be, right? Like, why is it just on you? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, it's inevitable not to have ever had bird thoughts, tendencies, bird behavior, whatever you want to say. Because again, we live in a patriarchal society. We've been socialized a certain way. We've been socialized to center men. We've been socialized, and that's just like societally, but then also culturally. We've talked a lot about how misogyny, machismo, and in Latino communities, especially with our background being Mexican, even the Catholic aspect of it, religion also
Mhm.
plays a heavy part in that too, because we've talked about how the Bible set up and how
Mhm.
religion is set up in general, just because they hated on women and the fact that we give life. But anyway, so it's inevitable, right? But that's where it's great that we are able to be self-aware, to call this out, to call it as we see it, because then we're able to kind of take more like action to unlearn these ideas or these behaviors, so that we're
Mhm.
not acting in this way, so we're not centering men, and we're really just focused on our well-being and the collective well-being, and that will also benefit men if they choose to even be part of the same side. And if not, then too bad, so sad, sir. Don't save him. He doesn't want to be saved.
Yeah. I I mean,
Yeah.
I
You're
don't
like,
even
that
know
was
what I
a
want to
lot.
say. I got a little overwhelmed. Just kidding. Yeah. You know what? I think because that's what I was thinking about. I was like, okay, like we've obviously gotten to a point where a lot of people are sick of other people's decisions and how it's affected other people, right? And it's like your decisions are affecting me. And I guess in this term, it's like your decision as a woman is affecting my choice as a woman and how
Mhm.
I'm seeing. I don't know if it's like projecting in a way also because it's like you are making us look bad. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's why people are
That's
so
not very
mad.
sisterly of you.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, okay, how did we get here? Clearly, there's frustration.
Yes,
And I'm
there's
like, the only way to get out is, again, holding the appropriate parties accountable and also having
not being
allyship
one-sided.
with the
Yeah.
appropriate parties and like making sure, okay, if we're going to hold you accountable, we're also holding this person accountable. And it's like, okay, who's hurting who? And it's like, okay, you need to fix your attitude. But at the same time, there's just so much to fix. And I think that's why I got
I think
overwhelmed.
that's why you get overwhelmed, because I feel like you take on this thing of like, I need to not that you do it like, because you're obviously aware that you're just one person, but you
Hmm.
get overwhelmed because it's like, how are we gonna fix it, right? How do
Hmm.
we make it better? Because when you talk about people either having, whether it's projection, whether it's resentment, whether it's like hating on women that behave this way,
Hmm.
I think it's because it ultimately ends up perpetuating these dynamics, which we have been,
The red
collectively
pilling.
yeah,
Yeah.
which we've been trying to, fight against, dismantle, and again, unlearn, so that we can have a better shot and have better relationships, live happier lives with our
Mhm.
partners, whoever we choose to partner up with. So that's why, like, I think that's where it's ultimately frustrating, in the sense that um that this type of behavior perpetuates the very same things that we are trying to dismantle when it comes
Yeah.
to systems of oppression, especially patriarchy in our society, especially when you look at it at the lens of dating and
And I would want to
socializing with
clarify
men
too,
or
because I
people of
feel
the
like,
opposite sex.
yeah, I do want to, yeah, I wanted to clarify that part because I feel sometimes when we say like women are pick me's or male centered, obviously there is this sense of defense that people, specifically women, get into because it's like we're not saying you're not allowed to love men or like men. We're not
Yeah.
saying that. It's more so it's like, okay, there has to be clear respect between both parties in order to have a healthy relationship. Obviously, yes, you guys, everybody's different and everybody has a different sense of what a relationship is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't, like, I don't know. I guess it's like, how do we know what's like what might offend me might not offend another person or vice versa? You
Right.
know what I mean?
It's not, well, what did Becky say? That was in my rock bottom.
That's not my rock bottom. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so then
Yeah.
how do we like get to a point where, okay, this is the rock bottom, right? And this is where, what was it? My mom says this too, where my boundary starts is like,
Oh,
or
yes. Yeah,
Or
my rights or boundaries end where someone else's begin,
yeah,
or mine start
exactly.
where yours end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So and I think that's what the biggest problem here is, like there's all this defensiveness. It's like, "Oh, I'm a
because
woman.
people,
I like men. I being male centered doesn't mean, I guess they're like, "Oh, I if I want to be male centered, I can because I like men. I want to be in a relationship with them." It's like, "No, that's not what it is. It's more so like
yeah,
you're not placing the men at the
it's
center of your world and it's the
danger.
be all end all." It's like you're centering yourself. Your partner is supposed to complement you and you're
Yeah,
supposed to compliment your partner and you're supposed to go at life together
yeah,
respectfully. And
yeah.
then if that doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But,
Here's yeah, here's the
yeah.
thing. You need to be your anchor. You need to be the center of your universe, not your partner. Your partner shouldn't be that for you. So it's
Yeah,
kind
because then at the same time, it's like if you're and again, it's like
I
you're
feel like
allowed to lean on your partner, but it's like you
yeah,
can
it's a
only lean so
partnership.
much on your partner too. Like you can't just like
Yeah,
here, take everything, do everything, and I'm just gonna la around. Like that's not
yeah.
how
And I
partnership works.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the I think the journey when it comes to getting in partnerships with people and anybody really, that you really do start like realizing what's important to you, what's not, like what are like petty things, and
Hmm.
then also learning to advocate for yourself, especially in a relationship. Like are you're looking into, okay, am I giving up my own like self-respect, integrity, or just things that are like valuable and important to me, at what cost, right? Is it at the sake of maintaining peace,
Peace. Hmm.
or keeping my man happy, like no, like the second you start putting your own integrity and self-respect on the line, I feel is like that should be a red flag for you of like, oh,
Or your own
maybe,
like comfortability or happiness in general, because it doesn't have to
yeah,
be integrity. If it's like if there's something that's constantly bugging at you that you don't appreciate from your partner and you've called it out and nothing changes,
yeah,
then that's when you need to start having a conversation with
with
yourself and be like,
yourself.
clearly this person's
It's
not
like
going
you
to
mentioned
change.
earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, is this the
How
thing
much
that
am
I
I
could
willing
be?
to take? Right.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
not willing to look past this, then I need to get up out of here
yeah.
because this is what's good for my mental
and
health.
and I feel like one of the things that I've learned too is that, well, I've worked towards unlearning, especially as in being in partnership with a person, is that like you definitely don't have to feel guilty for feeling a certain way. For like you said, you can't you don't you shouldn't feel guilty for feeling a certain way or wanting certain things for yourself or certain things from your partner, because it's your happiness that's at stake here at the end of the day, right? And I feel like women have been socialized to take on more in terms of whether it's in a relationship or like, women are notorious for like, I can suffer more in a relationship because like again, we were just socialized in that way, so that
Hmm.
like again, to keep the peace, to like maintain a relationship or whatever. But it's like you don't have to do that, you shouldn't do that, especially if it's putting your own happiness and like, dare I say, mental health at stake, It's okay to ask for things. You should advocate for yourself in a relationship. And if your partner can't rise to the occasion or isn't willing to be considerate of that,
And show up. Hmm.
then like you said, you have that internal conversation of like, you know what, I don't think this is a person for me then, or I don't think we're compatible in the ways that we thought, because this is a deal breaker for me. It might not be to you, you might not understand that, but like it is what it is. Maybe I
Hmm.
am too much for you, or whatever. So yeah, it is a lot. I think it is a lot for women, or just again anybody that's in partnership, to consider, because it can be a very slippery slope where you start normalizing behavior, and this is how you end up in these toxic relationships where at first you were like, oh, how did I get here, I ran such a strict program, but you then all of a sudden you're like, wait, how did I get bamboozled into this,
But also,
and you're
this is where
accepting.
communication comes into play too. Like, you can't just
Yes,
have all of these feelings and like keep it
yes,
inside and not communicate with your partner and expect them to understand what you're going through. Like, you need to
exactly.
communicate with your partner in a healthy manner. Like, hey, this is how
Mhm.
I'm feeling. And
And
then
it all.
also, if your partner is not taking in what you're saying, then it's like, okay, clearly there's a
Mhm.
disconnect here. How are we
Yeah,
either going to
to
fix it,
address it, move
or are we
from
just
here.
gonna like move on because clearly it's like our communication styles are very different,
Yeah,
or we're just not willing to show up for each other, and why are we in this relationship if you're not going to
yeah,
show up for me and I'm not going to show up for you in the way that
exactly.
we can, right?
Yeah, and I will say that has been one of the most humbling things that I've learned in my relationship or just in my partnership, again, like the communication thing of and it and really is the onus is on you because you're your own person. Like you can't control your partner or what he's going to say or this is and that, but like you do have to take ownership of like if you're feeling a certain way, you need to talk about things and you need to address them in a healthy manner, and you hope that your partner is also coming into the conversation in that way of wanting to listen, wanting to understand, wanting to support you, or like you said, to show up, right?
Mhm.
Because if they're not receptive to that, then it's really bleak and it's like, girl, get out of there because like that man ain't for you.
Or
And he
guy,
should,
get out of there too, and that girl's not for
yeah,
you. Same, yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like, let's get away from calling women birds and let's get away from calling guys dogs. Like, I know there's a lot of context and even just identifying men with dogs because there's that, like, the whole sports aspect of it too. It's like, oh, he's got that dog in him and whatnot. But either way, it's like,
What a
I
fucking
think,
perro. Just kidding.
but I think
I
there's
don't
just a
think I can
lot of
remove that
like,
from my vocabulary. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
and with that, thank you for coming to our episode about bird
No.
behavior.
And thanks for coming on Animal Kingdom to
Girl. It's like, what
episode.
are you? You're like,
No,
I
but
prefer to be called a panda. Just
no, you know
kidding.
what? I know I just like made a joke of it, but no, I think you're right. It is important that like as we're talking about unlearning behavior, unlearning things, recognizing that, power, like the power behind words and like the weight of words, especially when we talked about it last episode when it came to like context
Mhm.
means something here, etc. And so like if there's any way we can like either stop using those terms to associate them to women or men or what or vice versa, you stop giving power to it, you stop perpetuating those same like ideals or like the history
Or
behind
stop
what
shifting the blame.
that
Because
too,
I think that's what those terms do. It shifts the blame. It shifts the
Mhm.
blame from men and it shifts the blame onto women. And,
Yeah.
and the terms,
Or
it's
it
like,
sort of justifies it, like you said,
yeah,
because like, oh,
exactly.
that's just how they are. Oh no,
Or
it's
it
because they're like
casualizes
that.
everything. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it
okay, like
normalizes a
we can
behavior. Yeah.
address things head on, stop shifting blame. Everybody takes accountability.
Let's
And
be
how can we
objective
move
here.
forward? Yeah,
Yeah. And I
exactly.
think it goes without saying, right? Like, as we were talking about how communication is key when it comes to the partnerships that you look for, it goes without saying that it's definitely easier said than done. Like I said earlier, like it's been a humbling experience for me and my relationship because it is my first relationship, to like navigate that and to learn to like advocate for myself and to be also, what is it? Like to also show up for my partner and, not have the, what is it, the biases that I come with already, not
Hmm.
trusting men in general,
Yeah.
so it is definitely one of those things where it's like, yeah, like we got to remember that we're human and that, it's not an easy feat, but obviously at the end of the day it's worth it because what you're getting out of it at the end is you're in a secure relationship or you're just like in a respectful relationship, you're in a relationship that you feel adds to you instead of takes away from you. So yeah, I think it's just like use what you can to kind of do better for yourself, and then I think you can show up better for others and not just like your partnership but also like your friends, your family, because it really just comes down to that too.
Yeah. In the words of Tina Fey for Mean Girls, stop calling each other. Well, I changed the words. Stop calling each other birds. It just makes it okay for guys
Other
to call
people,
you birds. Just
I
kidding.
love that. No, I think that I love that. That's true. It's very true. Stop calling each other birds. Let's just, it's like you said, you know what, let's just be objective here, let's call it what it is, let's be straightforward, direct, let's
We're all
call people out
adults.
for their shit. Yeah, exactly, right.
Well,
Well, that's
and
all.
that's yeah, and that's on
And
birds.
yeah, and that's all she chirped. Tweet, tweet.
Yeah, thanks for coming to our talk about bird behavior. I hope you guys had fun learning about all the different kinds of birds and all the
Yeah.
different kinds of dogs that there are in the world. All the different kinds of animals that are out there. And
And
yeah, stop disrespecting birds, okay? Because they do a lot.
justice for birds,
Yeah.
yes.
I think at the end of the day, again, we need to come at each other with respect and communication, as Shelly mentioned. That's really the only way that we're going to be able to start solving problems and stop putting band-aids on things and just like pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all living in this world. we're all going through it, and it's like, okay, let's just work together to get through shit together, okay? Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day,
We just have each other, you guys. And so
yeah,
it's like no one's gonna come save us. Like we
unless
need to
the
do that.
aliens decide to intercept anytime soon.
If they're here's the thing, I feel like they can't be bothered. Like they're like, don't save them. They don't
They're
want
like
to
they're
be saved.
birds.
Literally. I feel like that's how they feel about us. So I feel like they can't be bothered. And if they are gonna be bothered, it's gonna be like what is that one? Have Begonia, have you seen it?
Hmm.
They're just gonna be like bloop.
Yeah.
And that's that.
All right, everyone, bitch up and stop being birds. Just kidding.
Yeah. Tweet tweet. No,
Tweet,
kidding.
tweet. No, but seriously, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. I hope that this gave you guys a different perspective on using animal
Any
terms to
language.
describe
Yeah.
people and dehumanize
Yeah.
us. And let's just be straight up with each other, you know? Bitch up and be straight up. Say how
Yeah.
it
Quit the
is.
bullshit. Be fucking for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy the World Cup. Can't wait to see
Yeah.
Mexico win it all. And
That part.
we'll see you soon.
Yeah. We'll see you on
Bye.
the next one. Bye, everyone.
Just kidding.